Good evening and welcome back to Monday Night Lives with Nikki. I'm your host, Nikki. So today we have a new segment called Teachers Talk, where a bunch of different teachers come in and speak about their opinions on the latest controversies of being a teacher. So today our very first guest is Miss Anna Diaz. She is an elementary school teacher at Arnold Mill Elementary, and she is here today to speak about her viewpoints on topics like math. Miss Anna Diaz.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you so much. So I just told our audiences how you are an elementary school teacher.
Yes.
How is that for you?
It's great. I love the kids. It's a different experience each day, and yeah.
Beautiful. So my first question for you is, what is mathematics?
What is mathematics? That's a very good question. I would say it's a process that involves multiple methods to obtain a solution. I understand that there's no one correct method to reach an answer to a math problem. So in my classroom, I understand that kids learn in a different way because each kid is unique. So I introduce different methods that they can use, and it's their choice. It's up to them what they want to use. I also make sure that I don't reject the method that they use because, like I said, each kid is different and it's how they interpret a problem.
So we're going to move on to our second question, provided to you by the viewers. So how do you feel about math?
Well, honestly, I thought math was pretty easy, starting from elementary to college. I was just one of those people that just got it. However, I think once I hit high school, I made it more into a competition. I was frustrated when I got lower grades compared to my other peers in the classroom, or I got really upset when I just didn't understand how to solve a problem because I usually understand it immediately. Reflecting back on my school experience, a typical day in a math classroom was more of a lecture base. So my teacher would give us a math problem and the method, a standard method to be more specific, so we'd understand how to do it on the test because that only specific method would only be accepted, which I think is very unfair to others that couldn't understand how to do it. It was an okay experience. After the lecture, they'd give us time to practice, which is very efficient because it gives us more time to improve on how to solve the problem, but I feel like that also ties in with memorization because it's just more of a routine than actually understanding how to solve a problem. I observed that my classmates began to dislike math. To me, I was more neutral. My confidence level stayed the same. It was just something that I had to do, which is very disappointing because I feel like I could have done more with it, especially the teacher because they could have done more, like introduce another way to solve a problem, or introduce games that incorporate the math lesson to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
How was your experience in school?
Thank you for asking. Well, I always liked math as well, but math, you need to know math for literally anything you do in life.
Very true.
I was a microbiology major in college. I don't know what I'm doing on a talk show, but I just remember having to build upon what I knew in math, and it just continuously got harder, more complicated, and it really shut down my confidence when it came to learning it. So I think that math is really crucial in a way of teaching, and I really like the methods that you want to provide to your students just because I wish my teachers would have done that for me growing up, because math can be very routine and very much so just using a method, but learning the actual concept and being able to apply an equation to a word problem I think is so important, especially in physics, in organic chemistry, things like that. It's not just solely math.
Yes. Snaps for you.
So now we're gonna read some tweets. We actually sent this out so that we can interact with our audience about, you know, what their math experiences were like in school. So, @Daria Loves Math says, Math is interesting when you can model real life scenarios. I was never bad at math. I was one of those people that could do it.
I actually want to add to that. It's a myth that only certain types of people can do math. I remember reading something back in college, which I think is very important to tell the audience, is that anyone can do math. You don't have to be a genius
To understand it.
to understand it. Correct. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And it's not inherited from your family. Your parents don't have to be math geniuses for you to understand a concept in math.
Yeah. So at Avery Bear Loves Mathematics says, I liked math until I got to college and realized it was a lot harder.
Yeah, it's very common for students to grow up and just begin to hate math.
They think that they can do certain classes and just forget about math. But that's not the case.
It's not.
All right. At Brittany Baba says, I used to really like math when I was a kid. It was easy until I got to high school, but I had a teacher who was supportive.
And I think that's very important too. A teacher who's supportive and nurturing can play a big role in how students learn the concept.
So our next tweet is from at Johnny Boy says, I have a pretty positive view of math. I think it's pretty fascinating to discover more about how the universe works through the language of math. Both of my parents are math teachers, so that probably influenced me a lot.
That was beautifully written, yes. I love how he said the language of math. In a way, math is a language that people enhance throughout their lifetime. It's a process.
Yes. And those are all our tweets about mathematics. Lots of pretty strong views about how high school really deters someone from learning to math. But obviously we've had other people who have been successful with math, thinks that it's a beautiful language to learn. And on to our final question. So how do you feel that your experiences in your earlier schooling years have impacted your way of teaching?
Well, thinking back to the tweets that you mentioned, I noticed that some of them who had positive experiences with math either had a supporting teacher or nurturing parents, and I think that the support and the connection to their personal world helps them want to pursue math more. So therefore, when I started teaching, I wanted to become a teacher that made math more enjoyable, made it relate to real world situations that they could apply, and also I wanted to create curiosity and desire for them to learn more about math. Personally, when I was in elementary school, I really enjoyed the 1 minute filling out the multiplication tables because, like I said, even though competition was a lot higher in high school, I still had a lot of fun competing against my classmates in my elementary classroom. It's a great incentive for kids to want to learn math. The prizes definitely gives them an opportunity to strive for knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but I also think too much competition can be bad because then they just focus on the prize instead of actually learning about the concept that is given at the time. So in addition, instead of making it more competition based, it could be a mixture of going back different methods into teaching it.
Or even just high school students as guests so that they can kind of talk about their story and how math has impacted them in a positive way. I feel like kids really look up to their mentors and you know, if you have like a buddy or something from high school, I feel like that would be a good way to show children that math is needed everywhere.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely a very positive experience when high schoolers or even college kids come to classrooms and just express how their experiences have been and make them want to learn more.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. I think that you are a wonderful teacher. You love your students, and I'm sure your students love you as well. So thank you for coming out, and we'll have the next teacher out here in a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We interrupt this segment to bring news of a missing student who ran away from home because... Wait, there she is! Wait. Ran away from home because her parents were too strict on her putting math problems. Wait, come here. Come back. My mama said not to talk to strangers.
strangers.
It's okay. I'm gonna help bring you home, okay?
I don't want to go home.
Stay right here. Sit down. Please. Thank you. Why did you run away from home?
My dad got mad at me when he was trying to help me with my math homework.
Yeah. Okay. Let's come back to the segment. Hello, and we're back. We have just got news that we brought the student back to her parents with just a solution of love, patience, and support.
I understand now that it just takes patience and practice.